Coming up tonight on Primetime Local News. Lloyd City Council gives more money to the Vic Juba Community Theatre. And the public was invited for their input on the Archie Miller Arena. Plus more on the Stars Lottery in Lloydminster.
Primetime Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Lloydminster is looking to keep theatre alive in the community, with more money going towards the Vic Juba Community Theatre. A project coordinator position is being added to the staff at the Vic Juba. The coordinator was hired for the duration of the 2024 calendar year, and now the theatre is aiming to extend them for an additional 6 months.
The Vic Juba Community Theatre has a contractor who is working on their governance policies and procedures, and the contract was to expire at the end of 2024. They're not quite completed with their policies and procedures, so they wanted to hire this individual for another year to make sure that everything was completed and done.
The role is set to cost the city $25,000 from the Recreation and Culture Operating Reserves, helping the Vic Juba ahead of a busy season.
To a standard that would keep the government or the Vic Juba in a standing order, so that they didn't have to come back to the city for assistance or funding, and that they could be self-sustained, and not really self-sustained, but run efficiently.
After 6 months, the project coordinator position is set to return to City Council for another decision. Last night, we brought you the story of a local man who is advocating for change regarding operating hours of the CT scanner at the Lloydminster Hospital. Tonight, we have a second story. Stacey Comer spoke with a Lloydminster woman who had a serious health issue over a year ago and also could not get a CT scan here. She is also advocating for change and hopes others will do the same.
I have a special guest joining me today on Primetime Local News. If you saw the newscast last night, you saw we spoke with a man who had issues with the CT scanner at the Lloydminster Hospital. And today I'm speaking with Kim Nockbar Madsen, who had some similar issues. Kim, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Stacey.
Now, Kim, your issues were about a year ago. So this has been an ongoing thing where you basically woke up and you felt like you had a headache that was out of the ordinary, not really a normal type of a headache. So you went to the ER at the Lloydminster Hospital, and then your issues continued from there, basically. So can you just give me a little bit of a walkthrough about what happened once you got to the hospital in Lloydminster?
Yes. So it was January 7th of 2024. And when I was at the hospital, they said I would require a CT scan. However, they didn't have one available. It was a Sunday morning. I was there around 8 a.m. Sunday morning. And so they had to send me by ambulance to Wainwright. And I had a CT scan while there. They also in Wainwright had to call someone in to come and give me the scan. And then they found that I had a brain bleed. So then I was ambulanced to Edmonton, where the surgeons were waiting to do surgery. And the time frame was from 8 a.m. in the morning, and I didn't arrive to Edmonton until about 6 that evening. So there was a 10-hour time gap in my care. It was quite concerning to know that after the fact, because with aneurysms, when they rupture, the faster you get care, the better your outcomes are. It's really a miracle that I even survived, but also a miracle that I'm in as good a shape as I am now because of that huge gap of care.
Now, when you arrived at the U of A, Kim, it's my understanding that the surgeon was also very surprised that after what you had gone through, that you were still communicating, basically, because as you said, time is of the essence, in a lot of things where people go to emerge, but having an aneurysm, that's, terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They were surprised to see me talking. I was in a lot of pain, but I was able to communicate and then and consent to having the surgery. But yeah, it was a huge concern, and then it became it lingered. The concern was lingering for me because I had to have a second surgery, but I had to fully heal from my first surgery. And so the second surgery was to happen on March 27th. And in between that time of January 7th to March 27th, I was at a quite a significant risk to have another ruptured aneurysm. And I knew that the CT scanner wasn't always going to be available in Lloydminster. So brought on a lot of stress for that period of time. And since then, my health is a lot better, but I still have to take things quite seriously. And it is troubling to me to know that if I needed to go there up to the emergency in Lloyd, that they might not have a CT scan to check on things.
Well, and Kim, I've spoken with the SHA, the information that I shared with you. They actually just provided me with a statement, and I'll just go over some of it here. But basically, it said that they are committing to stabilizing healthcare in Lloydminster. Many jurisdictions across the country are recruiting for medical radiation technologies to fill vacancies. They say at this time, CT services are currently available in Lloydminster Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock until 4:30. And it says they anticipate the return of permanent staff members to Lloydminster this month, which will help stabilize CT services, and they thank everybody for their patience. Now, when I spoke with the gentleman yesterday, he said he was told this in November. Your case was almost a year ago, or over a year ago, and it's still the same. So that response from the SHA, Kim, does that mean anything to you? Does it give you hope?
No, I mean, the response just isn't good enough. There's so many life-threatening crises that can happen in health that require a CT scan to diagnose. And the fact that we have one sitting there that can't be used is very frustrating for myself. And I imagine for the doctors and nurses and staff that's working at the hospital as well.
And one thing you said, Kim, was that this is not a knock against the staff at the hospital, that you received great care from them, but it's the issue around the scheduling and having a CT scan available. Is that correct?
That's correct. They are amazing. I can't say enough positive things about the Lloydminster Hospital staff. But again, it must be troubling for them as well to not have access to these tools when they know it's sitting right there.
Now, you have started basically to reach out, well, after this happened and you were kind of getting back on your feet, you started contacting the patient advocate at the hospital. And there were a couple of issues at the U of A not related to this, and you've actually received a response from the U of A hospital. So what are you going to be doing over the next little bit here? And what do you encourage others to do who have had similar experiences, Kim?
So I did do that initial work with making complaints about my experience. And then I just needed to take more time to heal. But now I do feel like I have the capacity, both emotionally and mentally, to contact the politicians for our jurisdiction and our premier for Saskatchewan and the opposition parties as well to let them know about what is happening at the hospital in regards to the CT scanner. And I mean, I hope for some sort of response. I would encourage anyone else who's had any kind of experience like this to also write them, or even if you haven't had a personal experience, just knowing that might not be available for you. That CT scanner might not be available for you if you do need it. It's pretty unsettling. We live in a large enough community that we should feel like we have access to these healthcare treatments.
Well, Kim, I really appreciate you sharing your story with us. I know that you went through a lot, and we're very happy to see that you are doing much, much better now. So thank you once again for speaking with us today. And we hope that, if you continue to advocate and others join, that maybe we can see a change with the hours and the operation of the CT scanner at the Lloyd Hospital. So thank you so much again for joining me.
Thanks, Stacey.
Well, if you look outside in Lloydminster today, you'd notice that we were treated to some snow.
We sure were. I went out, for lunch today, and it was just blowing everywhere. You can't really see that well in front of you, but the weather is actually quite nice.
It
just
is
that
nice,
snow.
yeah.
The temperatures themselves not too crazy, but that snow, not my favorite when it's kind of blowing around. You go out there and it sticks to you because it's not super cold out. It's that kind of sticky snow. I don't love that. I'm sure people driving don't really love that slush. +2 right now in Lloydminster, and that wind is blowing strong. 41 kilometers an hour, making it feel closer to -4. So even though those winds are blowing strong, it still doesn't feel super chilly out there, especially for January. But yeah, kind of a gloomy day, a lot of that sticky snow that we maybe don't particularly love, especially around this time of year. Cold Lake is -2, and St. Paul, Vermilion, and Vegreville, as well as Wainwright and Provost, is +2. Bonnyville 0, Edmonton +3, and Lac La Biche +1. Over in Saskatchewan, about the same, a little bit cooler in Isle La Crosse at +7. But then Green Lake, Meadow Lake, and St. Walburg are at -2. Pierceland and Maidstone at -1. Macklin at +2. And North Battleford is sitting right at 0. Tonight, North Battleford, it is going to drop down quite a bit to -14. Very windy, much like in the border city at 43 kilometers an hour. And then a 55% chance of a bit of snow in the evening. It's not going to stay around. It's not going to accumulate. The snow will be sticky, but the snow will not stick. About 1 to 2 centimeters of that, and those winds will be quite extreme. Now tomorrow, North Battleford, it's going to be -12. Those strong winds will subsidize there. They're going to go down to 30 kilometers an hour from 43. And it's going to be a cooler day and quite cloudy in North Battleford. So not a nice looking day outside, but yeah, quite windy. You maybe want to hold on to your hat, hold on to your scarf while you're out there. Tonight in Cold Lake, -18, windy in the evening, not quite as windy. I feel like a broken record this week. I've talked a lot about the wind. It seems to be kind of persisting around the region. An 83% chance of an additional 1 to 3 centimeters of snow and a cloudy, cool night in Cold Lake tonight. Now tomorrow in Cold Lake, it's going to be -14, much colder with a thick cloud cover. Not quite as windy as North Battleford, only at about 17 kilometers an hour, but still quite the day in Cold Lake tomorrow. Tonight in Lloydminster, it's going to be -16 with 32 kilometer an hour winds, and that snow will still be blowing around. So we're going to have quite the night. It's gonna mirror much of what we saw earlier today and what the folks in North Battleford will see as well. So now looking at tomorrow's forecast at 6 a.m., cloudy and -14. That -14 is going to stick around at noon. The clouds are going to go away. It will be partly sunny. And then 6 p.m., partly cloudy at -16. And then at midnight, mostly cloudy at -21. Those winds won't be quite as strong, but you will still feel them out there. Now taking a look at our weekend 3-day forecast on Friday, some sun, windy, and much cooler with a high of -14. Saturday, sunny but very cold with a high of -23. And Sunday, that very cold, sunny day will continue with the high being -2. That is your first look at the evening weather. We'll be back with more news after the break.
The City of Lloydminster is conducting a survey, both in person and online, about the Archie Miller Arena and what can be done with the arena to have it best serve the community.
Yeah, so we've heard a lot of community members are interested in what's going on with the Archie Miller, and so we've put together some surveys and we're doing some community engagement today to kind of learn what the community wants to do with that facility.
City Councillor David Lopez is very interested to hear the findings of the survey, as he believes the Archie Miller is an important part of the community and moving forward.
My belief is we need the Archie Miller. We don't go put up 2 new arenas to get rid of 2 sheets of ice, and when the user groups are telling us that we need ice, that we need more space for kids to play hockey. The survey is going to tell us those things, but as it is right now, I'm a firm believer that the Archie Miller should stay the way that it is. And if we need to do some upgrades and it costs us a couple $1 million, I don't know where we would find the ability to put a new arena or another sheet of ice for a couple $1 million, even if it's $5 or $6 million.
If you aren't able to make it to the open houses, you can go online to yourvoicelyloyd.ca and take the Archie Miller Arena survey if you want your voice to be heard. The Saskatchewan Baseball Hall of Fame will be celebrating 40 years this year with their annual induction coming up in August. Our Jackson Fontaine has more with the president of the Hall of Fame.
I'm joined here today with Jane Shuri, who is the president of the Saskatchewan Baseball Hall of Fame. So thank you for joining me today.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for asking.
So before we start discussing what we are going to be talking about today, why don't you just give me some background information on the museum?
The founder of the Saskatchewan Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum Association back in 1983 had a passion for baseball and for history. That's how this all came about. And so in the past 40 years, we have our own building. We have it full of memorabilia from our Saskatchewan baseball, which was a very rich and still is a very rich baseball history. And so the need for preserving history and the passion for baseball was the result, because of Dave Shurry, that we now have this Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. And we celebrate and honor those individuals who contributed to our rich baseball history.
So you mentioned you guys are celebrating 40 years at the museum with your annual induction. So why don't you just give everyone some details on that?
Well, okay, so what we will be doing is, number one, of course, we will still be having the center point is the induction of those people who have been selected, and we have a very firm kind of procedure in terms of selecting these individuals. We're in the process now until March 15th to obtain nominations. And we get these nominations from all across Saskatchewan. And even for doing this for 40 years, there are still a lot of people out there that need to be honored, acknowledged and honored and inducted.
What makes somebody eligible to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
An individual who has contributed to our baseball history. And by that, it's it's not just the baseball player. We have lots of players, definitely the majority are players, but what about the officiates? I mean, there are the umpires. We have quite a number of umpires as well, because they certainly have contributed to our baseball history. And we're very proud of this. We have several women who have been inducted for different reasons, and one reason would be that they worked with with a local baseball organization and contributed an awful lot over many years to that their home organization.
And final question I have for you, Jane, is there anything else you'd like to add about the museum or the induction itself that I might have missed?
The induction is something that has been something that people have really looked forward to, and really feel that it is something where we certainly give credit, acknowledgement, and honor those guys who have been selected, who have contributed to our baseball. And it's a very wonderful day, and the day consists of a complimentary luncheon. And then we have tours of the museum, and then of course the big dinner, followed by the induction. And it is something that we did right the very first time that we had the induction. Works well, and the one thing that we do is we still have a guest speaker every year, and we've had some very excellent. They're all good guest speakers, and we've had some outstanding ones like our own Fergie Jenkins, and so we're just in the process of trying to line somebody up for this year.
Okay, so once again, that is the Saskatchewan Baseball Hall of Fame's 40th annual induction, taking place on August 16th. Thanks for taking the time to do this today, Jane.
You're welcome, and our phone number is 306-446-1983. Please give us a call if you have any questions. Thank you.
A well-known Canadian musical group will be performing in Lloydminster in April. Stacey Comer spoke with one of the members of Glass Tiger about their upcoming show.
This is an exciting day for me here at Primetime Local News. I'm talking to somebody who I have been following, and I'm going to date myself here, since the mid 80s. We'll just leave it at that. But Sam
Okay.
Reed from Glass Tiger is with me. Sam, thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Stacey. It's great to be here.
You guys are coming to Lloydminster. It's part of a bigger tour, but you're going to be in Lloydminster here April 7th at the Vic Juba Community Theatre. So tell me a little bit about this tour.
Well, we've, of course, we've toured over the 40 years we've been together many times across Canada. However, this tour, it's been a long time since we've done a theater tour, and the show it's still all the hits, it's still all the songs that you would expect that we would play, but we've put it together in a slightly different manner with some visuals and some surprises. And so we're quite excited. The tour is called This Island Earth, which was a track off our one of our albums, and it just felt like it was fitting because with everything going on in the world today, it just felt like it was the right time. While we're still got our energy level up and everybody's feeling great and Alan's singing great, we would come out and go across Canada on this tour. So it's very exciting.
Now, you've been with the band since the beginning. You're one of the founders. So how have you seen things change in the audiences from the beginning to now? Now when people like myself were teenagers and fans in the 80s, are you now seeing, my children and then, grandchildren, and you're getting all the different generations of fans at these shows?
We are certainly seeing a second crop of Glass Tiger fans, which is understandable. Alan, on this monologue, I forget what song now we set up, but we basically talk about 1986, and we get a show of hands in the audience, and we ask, how many people saw Glass Tiger in. Actually, what we do is say, how many people saw Glass Tiger, and a lot of hands will go up, and then he'll say, how many saw us in 1986, and then a lot of hands go down. So, and then of course you look in the audience and you see some younger people, and you think, you're doing the math in your head. You're thinking, there's no way you saw us in 1986. And then you find out that their mom and dad used to play a lot of Glass Tiger in the house. And now they're coming to Glass Tiger music based on hearing it in the house from their mom and dad. And we figured we might draw the line when it's the, grandparents. We're good with the parents. That's good. No, it's fun though. It's great to see some younger people in the audience. Yeah.
So what's it like for you after, you've done many tours before, and now you come out and you see people having such a good time with your music and singing along, with the lyrics, and, this is the songs that you wrote and produced, and that people still attach so many memories with Glass Tiger songs. How does that feel for you when you're up on stage and you see that response?
Well, there's quite a bit of effort goes in, especially as we get a little older, like traveling in a bus and touring across the country. It's a big country. And, and one of the things that always makes you feel like you're doing the right thing is when you see people sing along. And that makes all the effort worthwhile. As corny as that sounds, it's what gets us motivated, and it doesn't have to be tens of thousands. It could be a dozen people singing along. It still makes you feel like you're doing the right thing. We always watch, and there's moments in the song where we might even cut out and hear the audience. There's some audience participation parts, and it just never gets old when the fans sing along with you.
Now, you had some very exciting news this morning, and I'm not going to steal your thunder, so I'll let you tell us about it. But Hall of Fame honors, congratulations, and tell me about that and your reaction from yourself and from the rest of the band.
Well, and this is absolutely hot off the press. It literally just came down today. We got a notification that the Glass Tiger is going to be inducted into Canada's Hall of Fame, which, of course, after all the years, and it's on one level, it means you've been in the business a long time, which we have. But the bigger message is it's just such an honor. First of all, the other artists, Lorena McKennitt is in there, Dan Hill. I was looking at the press release this morning, and it was lovely to see our name in there with those other artists. And we were fortunate enough through our history to have won 5 Junos, and this is connected to the Juno. It's just the Juno Hall of Fame. So it's a bookends for us. We got the Junos early in our career in the 80s and 90s, and to get this honor at this point in our career. and to get it while we're still touring and we're still on the road, which is great. You know, like sometimes these things, they come along later in your life and maybe the band's not functional or something, but we're still a touring act. So we're going to celebrate this moment all across Canada with all the Canadians and all our fans.
Well, Sam, it has been an absolute pleasure to speak with you today again. Congratulations on the Hall of Fame, and still touring after all this long. And like I said, the fans just come out and enjoy your music. We've had lots of buzz around here in the newsroom talking about being excited to go and see the show. So once again, you are here April 7th, Lloydminster, Vic Juba Community Theatre, Glass Tiger, as part of this Canadian tour. So thanks for stopping in Lloydminster. We're super excited to see you, and thanks for chatting with me today.
Thank you. We're excited to get there. We'll see you there soon.
It's time now to take a look at your adorable animals in our pet picks of the day.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to have them featured on Pet of the Day.
Stars Alberta is kicking off their annual lottery today with their largest prize pool yet. Our Lane Hofford has more on the lottery and where to buy tickets.
I'm joined here today with Mark Oden from Stars Alberta, and he's going to tell me about the Stars Lottery that has kicked off today. So yeah, Mark, why don't you just tell me a little bit about the lottery and who it helps?
Well, this is our 32nd annual lottery, and it's very special for us because it's also Stars' 40th anniversary of providing critical care anywhere we are required for people across Alberta and throughout Western Canada. In fact, in our 40 years, we've flown over 60,000 missions, and a lot of them right to the border city. So when you support Stars Lottery, you're very literally helping us save lives. All the proceeds from this lottery go towards our 24/7 mission operations across Alberta, and really the proceeds provide enough funding to fund one of our 3 Alberta bases for an entire year. So it's really important to us, and we hope it's really exciting for people because we've got a lot of awesome prizes they can win.
Awesome. Yeah, why don't you just touch a little bit more on the importance of supporting Stars through this lottery?
Well, for 40 years, we've been relied upon to work with all our other agencies in the chain of survival to make sure that when someone's having a very critical injury or illness, whether that be in a hospital where they need to go somewhere else for a higher level of care, or if they are out and about playing, working, traveling, if they're out in the field, if they're at an industrial site, if they're on a highway and potentially having their worst day of their life, we want to be there to help those people in their hour of need. And so Stars Lottery is just one of the many fundraisers we do throughout the year to raise money to fund our mission, but it is also the largest and one of the longest running. And this year is really special, being our 40th anniversary. We have actually the largest charity lottery in Alberta, and it has 4,000 prizes worth more than $5.4 million. And today it gets underway to the public, and really hope that people will buy a ticket, and when they do so, they're not only getting a chance to potentially win a life-changing prize, but they are very literally helping to save lives.
Why don't you tell me about some of the various prizes that you could win if you enter into the lottery?
Yeah, there are 4,000 prizes worth more than $5.4 million. Of course, there are, as there are every year, are 3 grand prize dream homes. I'm actually in the Edmonton home right now, and there's also one in Calgary and one in Lethbridge. Beautiful homes, and together they're worth $3.5 million. But beyond that, we have vacations, vehicles, cash, lots of cash, There are thousands of home electronics and outdoor prizes, and then some very special ones that have special deadlines. So if you buy your ticket before February 13th, you are in for our bonus prize, which is we call the Joyride Porsche vehicle. It's actually a Porsche 911 GTS Targa, and it's worth more than $268,000, or you can get a $225,000 cash alternative. If you buy your ticket before March 6th, then you get in for our early bird deadline and our early bird prize, and that is $500,000 cash to spend however you want. And then in addition to Stars Lottery, we also have the Lucky Stars 50/50, which of course is more cash, and everyone loves cash. And that one has the potential to go up to $8 million this year, meaning that the payout would be $4 million. And that you have until March 27th to get in on. And then finally, backed by popular demand this year, is our Million Stars Daily Cash. And so that is 40 draws, daily draws of $25,000 each. So that's another $1 million cash. And you have to buy your ticket separately for the 50/50 and Million Stars Daily Cash, but they start at just $10. And of course, there's packages to suit every taste and every budget. But Stars Lottery truly is one of the most affordable and one accessible. Stars Lottery is one of the more affordable and accessible lotteries. Only $10 needed to get in on the 50/50 and the Million Stars Daily Cash. And you can get a ticket to Stars Lottery to win one of these homes potentially for as little as $30. So we really hope that everybody can come out and purchase a ticket or purchase several tickets. The earlier you buy, the more tickets or the more prizes you can win. And one special feature for this year that we have that's new is a special 40th anniversary ticket pack where it's a combination of tickets to all three lotteries, the 50/50, the Daily Cash, and the main lottery, and you can save $50 by doing that way. So we really want to start with the bang and hope that everyone will go online or call toll-free today and get their tickets.
All right, and where can people go to buy tickets?
The easiest way to get your tickets is to go online to starslottery.ca, and you can buy them right there, or you can call toll-free 1-855-STARS-68, and we have operators standing by from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. You can get your tickets there. If you happen to find yourself in Edmonton or Grand Prairie or Calgary, you can also go directly to our bases or to any of our show homes, our 3 show homes. You can buy the tickets there, and all that information is on the website.
Perfect. And when is the deadline to buy the tickets?
The deadline for the bonus prize is February 13th. The early bird deadline is March 6th, and the final deadline is March 27th.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have today. Thanks a lot for joining me, Mark.
Thank you very much.
Coming up after the break, our Lane Hoffert will have another look at our evening weather forecast.
Welcome back. Here's your second look at the evening weather. Currently +2 in Lloydminster, but those winds and snow are blowing quite strong. There's actually a blowing snow advisory out right now. It could get up to 90 km/h wind gusts, so just make sure maybe stay inside and avoid driving best where you can. You know, stay off the roads. It'll be quite the weather outside. A -4 right now with that wind, and a cloudy day in Lloydminster, so maybe not the best day. Tonight, -16 will be the temperature, 32 km/h, and those strong winds, they should die down a little bit, so you know, maybe you won't have to worry all night, but just keep an eye out and just make sure to make smart decisions when that wind and snow, when it's blowing strong like this. Now, taking a look at tomorrow, -14, partly sunny, another windy day and much colder. It sounds like Lloydminster seems to be kind of getting a little bit of a reputation here as the Windy City. Now let's take a look at your 7-day forecast tomorrow. Some sun, windy, and much colder with that high of -14, the low being -28. We're going to have a cool weekend ahead. Saturday, sunny but very cold. -23 is the high, the same as Sunday, slightly warmer there with -22 being the high. And then Monday, it's going to warm up a little bit. It's going to be -11. And then we're into those similar days that we had this week, you know, with just those low negative temperatures, -3 on Tuesday and Wednesday, and -7 on Thursday. So, you know, after we get through today's very strong winds and then into the weekend's cold temperatures, seems like smooth sailing ahead once again.
We do have something nice on the horizon to look forward towards, but those gusts tonight, 90 kilometers an hour, is no joke. So be careful out there, because
definitely.
it is scary. But that is all the time we have today for Primetime Local News. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great night.